The San Diego Unified School District is bringing that mandate back. Starting Monday, the San Diego school will require indoor masking, and they will apply to all students, teachers, and staff. The announcement outraged many parents who believe the mandates are unnecessary and the masks not effective, by the way. Let's bring in our panel to react. Chief Strategy Officer for Young Americans for Liberty, Brendan Steinhauser, and Project 21 member Whitley Yates. Whitley, I'll start with you. I think L.A. schools are also considering bringing back the mask mandates. I think some of these cities are thinking of indoor masking again. What are your thoughts here?
California strikes again. I'm never surprised by how backwards California's actions are, from their elected officials to anything that they institute. San Diego forcing students to mask again with the hope of reducing COVID is nonsensical because the data doesn't suggest that masks are even going to help. And so once again, it's their totalitarian thoughts leading and pushing them on our children. And we saw what happened in Virginia when they did this. Republicans ended up taking the state back. I'm hopeful if they continue to push these things on our children, that parents will step up and they'll stop voting for these crazed Democrats.
All right. Now, let's listen to what the school district president in that San Diego school said when she was interviewed about the decision. And not only did she double down on the mandates, but here was her solution for people who don't want to wear them.
They can go to our school that's online. They can opt not to return to the regular school, but to go to the school where they don't have to go to school at all other than via Zoom.
Brendan, I mean, online schooling, something we also learned was actually harmful to kids over the last couple years. Your take to her solution?
Yeah, it's not a very good solution. If we learned anything during the pandemic, it was that pandemic schooling doesn't work well. Kids fell behind. We're still trying to get them caught up. As someone who worked very hard to overturn these mask mandates and vaccine mandates across the country, this is really frustrating, but I think that parents are going to continue to get organized and push back, whether it's in San Diego or California or across the country, to say enough is enough. We're really proud of the work that we've done at Young Americans for Liberty to fight back against this nonsense and to point out the science actually says these mask mandates don't actually work. And I just think this is, to Whitley's point, this is going to hurt the Democrats in the fall elections.
And of course, it's not news by now to almost anyone that President Biden has come down with COVID. And we wanted to tell you the statement that was released by former President Trump about Joe Biden's COVID status. And he wrote this: Joe Biden, who many have said is our worst president, has come down with a case of the China virus despite being vaccinated. I hope Sleepy Joe is able to bounce back quickly as much as I was. Doctors described my fight against the China virus as Herculean, and not meaning the woke Disney Hercules, but rather the Kevin Sorbo one, the Lou Ferrigno one as well. Joe, I wish you a speedy recovery, even though you are taking America in the wrong direction. No one wants Kamala.
I'm not saying any. I'm not touching that one. Whitley.
Listen, I think Joe Biden can't even make it up a flight of stairs without falling. He's fallen on his bike. Now he's caught COVID again. I mean, he seems like a very frail president. Like, his health is not in the best. Sometimes he doesn't remember where he is. He's a little disoriented. I think we should be worried, not only that he has COVID, but his decision-making skills have not been of operational excellence, and we can see where the country is going.
Yeah, Brendan, your thoughts here on the statement. That was pretty funny. I mean,
it was funny.
It's funny because it's true. No one wants Kamala. President Biden's presidency has been a disaster. It's one bad decision after another. He's completely out of touch. He has so many problems right now. This is kind of just the latest in a string of bad news. We all, of course, wish him a healthy and speedy recovery, but his presidency is the thing that is really on life support at this point. I mean, it has been atrocious, but the numbers that are out there, show that he is very unpopular across the country. He's unpopular with independent voters, with young voters. Only Democrats, hardcore Democrats, support him. So he's got a very tough road here through the end of his first term presidency.
Yeah, I got to say this. Y'all are a tough crowd. I thought President Trump, that was some pretty funny stuff. Brendan and Whitley, stick around if you will. We want to take a break and talk a little bit about Dave Chapelle going about it with the woke left again. He's a comic. When is this going to stop? Let him do his job. If you don't want to go to a show, don't go to a show. We're going to talk about it after this. Well, a concert venue in Minneapolis called First Avenue, isn't that? I think it was a setting for Prince's Purple Rain.
Yes,
the film,
the iconic film.
Canceled Dave Chappelle's scheduled performance and changed its location just hours before he was set to perform.
Far-left groups also passed around flyers and created online petitions telling people to protest outside the clubs Chappelle was performing at, saying that Chappelle's words are violent while threatening to be actually violent themselves.
Let's bring back our panel, Brendan and Whitley. Brendan, look, I said it before the break. If you don't want to see Dave Chappelle, don't see him. But it's almost like people are trying hard to find something to be offended by.
Yes.
And comics, I used to go to comedy clubs a lot, and they're a great place. It's impossible for comics now to do their jobs naturally because people are going to be offended. They've decided ahead of time they're going to be offended.
Yeah, this political movement to cancel people that you disagree with or cancel people now who make jokes. Comics make fun of everybody.
Yes,
if everybody who is offended or everybody who is targeted tried to cancel a comedian, there would be no comedy, which maybe, a humorless world is what these activists want.
That we are a humorless society right now.
Yeah, nobody smiles.
It's incredible. So I feel like, Dave Chappelle and others like him need to stand up to do their craft, to stand up for free speech. I had the pleasure.
I see what you did there.
That was good.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I had the pleasure of interviewing the editor-in-chief of the Babylon Bee at Freedom Fest about a week ago. and it was fantastic. And, we talked about this and we said, humor and ridicule and satire have a special place when it comes to free speech, and we need to defend it. It's almost the most important type of free speech.
And for the health of the country, too.
Truly. I mean, even John Cleese yesterday, of course, of Monty Python fame, says wokeness has a disastrous impact on comedy. Even Steve Harvey saying, I wouldn't want to do stand-up anymore. I couldn't do it. But in a statement, the First Avenue venue, here's what they wrote. We're going to show you that in just a minute. They said, we believe in diverse voice and the freedom of artistic expression, but honoring that, we lost sight of the impact this would have. Now, this is a reference to Chappelle's last Netflix special, defending artistic expressions while canceling the same artist. Isn't it ironic, don't you think, Whitley?
Yes, absolutely. I think that the venue let the militant Minneapolis far left decide what they were going to do. And cancel culture is cancerous. It's pure hypocrisy that the same people in party that tout that they want to uplift diverse voices and marginalize people cancel them in the same way. You can cancel someone without telling them. You just don't support them and you just don't show up.
Right, exactly.
Exactly. Instead, they want consequences, and they want everyone to then be maimed and not have the freedom of thought and the freedom of speech to be different. They want people to have groupthink and not voice their expressions at all.
And not only that, Whitley, but I'm convinced that that's such a small portion of people that they're trying to get everybody, they're trying to force all the rest of us to do what they do or have the same consequence when they don't have to go to the show.
Yeah. Absolutely. No,
it's an easy solution.
Solution.
Don't go to the show.
Right.
And the rest of us will.
Exactly.
Because Dave Chappelle is
More
funny.
tickets for us.
No matter what he's talking about.
I agree.
Yeah. All right. Whitley and Brendan, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. All right.